Hi, this video will help you out with question number one. And I just want to clarify that question number one should not be something difficult to you to handle by now, because we have realistically been seeing this problem over and over again, countless of times in our last week that we have been together, and you also have seen it in your homework. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump into this example. So it reads, scientists observed a sample labeled E. coli bacteria, and it is exponentially growing at a rate of 3 and 1/4 bacteria every 1/3 of a second. What is the E. coli bacteria growth rate per second? Okay, go ahead and read this problem to yourself one more time. And while you guys are reading it, my question for you guys will be, what is this narrative? What is the story talking about? Okay, so I hope you had a chance to read this by yourself. And my question to you guys was, what is this story about? Go ahead and write it down on a piece of paper. Great. Now, go ahead and respond to me. What is this story about? I hope you were able to identify this story is about the E. coli bacteria. It's talking about a specific type of bacteria. And scientists are observing that it has a growth rate, a specific growth rate for a specific time. So now that we identify the story, I want to ask you guys, what do we know about the E. coli bacteria? What information is given from the problem? Go ahead and write that information down on your piece of paper. Now, tell me, what information do we know about the E. coli bacteria? Okay, I really hope that you were able to identify that we know the actual growth rate for the bacteria, the E. coli bacteria. We know that it's growing 3 and 1/4 of a bacteria every 1/3 of a second. And that's actually the rate. It's the growing rate. Okay. With that information given, let's go ahead and ask ourselves, what is the question asking you to find? Now, if you need to read the problem again, go ahead and reread it. But after you know what we're finding, write it down on a piece of paper. Okay, go ahead and respond to me. What is the question or problem asking you to find? Great. I hope that you were able to tell me that the problem is asking you to find the growth rate per second. So basically, we want to know how many bacteria is growing in 1 second. That's what we're really interested. And I'm going to underline it. By the way, this strategy is just annotating my problem. Okay, so we should have this following information on our piece of paper. We should write the word given. We should know that this information is given that 3/4 of a bacteria grows every 1/3 of a second. So with that information, we're going to construct a rate. Remember, a rate is a ratio with descriptions that has a fraction form. So go ahead and do that on your piece of paper and actually do it. Great. I hope you were able to write your rate as basically with the numerator being 3 and 1/4 over 1/3. Now, remember, a rate is a special type of ratio. It has descriptions. The top is talking about bacteria. The bottom is talking about something special too. It's talking about time and seconds. You need to include these in your ratio to make sure that it basically tells you it's a rate. Now, I will connect them for right now. But anyways, step one is to write this down. Step two is to disconnect or split and group your numbers away from your variables or symbols or units. So our units for the numerator is bacteria. Our units for the denominator is seconds. Anyway, so when we split them up, we have the following thing. We're actually following ratio. We have 3 and 1/4 over 1/3. And I'm just going to abbreviate it for right now. B for bacteria, S for seconds. So now that we split our numbers away from our units, we can take care of our numbers. But we have something special on the numerator and something special in the denominator. For the numerator, there's a mixed fraction, and the denominator, we have an actual fraction. So we cannot go ahead and plug this in and multiply the top, because a mixed fraction is not representing multiplication. It's actually representing something with addition. So 3 and 1/4 is really telling you that you have 3 full pieces. And I'm going to actually go ahead and split it up to 3 full pieces plus a little piece, 1/4 of a piece. And that's still over 1/3. And you have to include your units. Top is talking about bacteria, the bottom is talking about time in seconds. Now that you split your mixed fraction and you carried over your fraction in the bottom, you can do the following step. The following step is to convert any fraction to a decimal. So for the numerator, the top, we can observe that the fraction of 1/4 is actually 0.25. And that's being added to the number 3. In the bottom, 1/3 is actually equal to a decimal. Is actually equal to 0.333, and then it actually repeats a lot of times. I'm just including 4 of the 3's for right now. Okay, now we could change the numerator and denominator to either decimals or numbers with decimals. So if we change them, we get the following type of fraction, which is basically a rate because it's being described. We get 3 point, oops, sorry about that mistake. We get 3 point, let me do the little point for the decimal, 25 over 0.333. You could definitely just include 2 3's, but we're going to include 4 for right now. Now, this is not complete. You need to carry over the units. The top was talking about bacteria. The bottom was talking about seconds. Okay, from right now at this very point, you can definitely just plug in your numerator and your denominator in your calculator and divide them out and to get a unit rate. Now, when you do this, just remember the top, and just remember you can even tap the top of your head. Your top actually always comes first, right? Compared to the bottom of your feet. So you're going to plug in the numerator, then divide it by the denominator. So go ahead and actually do that. All right. So when you plug it in your calculator, just be very careful, because if you include less 3's in your bottom denominator, you'll definitely end up rounding up because the calculator will do that. But anyways, for this situation that I included 4 3's in my decimal in the bottom, I get 9.75. That's all I care about right now. It's not just 9.75. It's really talking about bacteria over seconds. But as I emphasized in class, we need to talk about fractions when we're talking about rates and unit rates. And right now we have a unit rate, but it does not look the correct format. So to do the correct format, we're going to rewrite 9.75 over 1. And the numerator is now describing the bacteria, and the denominator is talking about 1 second. So the unit rate of this bacteria growth rate for 1 second is 9 point. Let me write that 9 nicer. 9.75 bacteria per 1 second. So it's growing about 9 bacteria every 1 second, or actually close to 10. Anyways, this summarizes and basically emphasizes how to take care of your problem. Now, I expect you to watch this video if you're having issues. Anyways, I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you guys very soon.